I want to welcome everyone to a personal training series of interviews for ZG.com. This interview is with Ginny Grupp from Girdwood, Alaska. Hi, Ginny.
Hello.
Well, why don't we get started, and why don't you tell us about your training background and what got you into training?
I have been involved in physical fitness for most of my life. I remember having my first Jane Fonda workout tape when I was about 12 years old, and then joined my first gym when I was about 16, and then later on when I was in my 20s thought that I would work out with a personal trainer. So I was a client for a while and thought that this was just the greatest job on the planet, and so realized that it was something that would work into my schedule, so had a rather drastic career change a few years ago and went from a Wall Street, downtown Manhattan type of existence, living in a cubicle, to working outside for a while, and then started working on the training aspect. So in 2003, I worked on getting my certification through ACE, and I recently completed my master's degree in exercise science and health promotion through California University of Pennsylvania, and then also got a performance enhancement specialty through the National Association of Sports Medicine, and now am teaching yoga 4 days a week, so have kind of taken to it quite well.
Very interesting. What is your main training style? Can you also give us examples with a client or two?
Sure. Most of my training is along the functional fitness lines. I don't work very much with bodybuilders or people who want to get very, very big. My clients tend to be female. I do have male clients, and those male clients tend to be athletes. And so I focus more on getting through daily life, improving daily activities of daily living, and overall functionality. And I find that I end up with quite a large client base, and I end up with people who are very happy and who notice small, subtle changes that improve their overall lifestyle. And so two of my favorite clients are one who is in her 60s, and when she first came to me and we started working together, she was unable to even stand up straight. She was bent over at the hip for the most part. She had very, very tight front structure of her body. And so we worked on loosening that up, and her muscle tone was pretty much non-existent, and she was in a lot of pain in just about every movement that she did, from walking to the mailbox in the morning to getting out of bed. And so after about 6 months of working together, she showed huge improvements, and my favorite story from her is she had been out with her daughter, and they had previously gone on shopping type expeditions, and it was not her favorite activity, but she would go with her so they could spend time together. And when she went, after working with me for about 6 months, she was able to walk with her daughter for about 3 hours without sitting down or looking for a chair, where previously this would not have happened. She would have been looking for a chair after about 10 or 15 minutes of walking with her daughter. So that was a huge, huge improvement for me. And I have another client who is younger, who's in her early 40s, and she is an athlete. She does a lot of running and general physical fitness type stuff, and she had, before we started working together, she complained about her quads getting tired all the time, and her legs were the first thing to go. And so I looked at what her body movement was, and we did some movement studies and found that she had some imbalances in her muscles, and we worked on those, and within 3 weeks she was able to run much more comfortably, able to run farther, run faster, and did not have the same problems that she had been having for pretty much her entire life.
Oh, very nice. What is the first thing that you do with new clients that come to you?
The first thing I do with new clients when I meet with them is movement assessment. So just do some things like squats and lunges, and studying their walking patterns and figuring out what kinds of things are going on in their bodies. So are there muscle imbalances that may be causing weakness, that may be causing pain in some of their regular daily activities? A lot of people experience pain on a daily basis, or tweakiness in muscles and things, and they don't really know why, and often it's because there's some sort of imbalance there. So maybe one muscle is tight and the balancing muscle is weak, and they need to just work it out so that they are in balance, and then they're able to move through their regular activities or exercises, or maybe take their fitness level up a notch.
Okay. What is the format of your training?
It's very, very individual, and it starts with that movement assessment, and from there we will tailor what I'm going to do. So Mostly, again, focusing on functional fitness, lots of core training, because I do find that most people do not have very strong core at all. And so we start there, and then from there we start working on some stability exercises. Often people will want to go straight into, I want to lift 20, 40, 50 pounds, and if they're unstable in their movements and their muscles or their structure is not able to stabilize the muscle or the joint before they start moving, they can end up with serious injuries because they're unable to stabilize. So we'll start with stabilization, and then we'll move on to building strength, and then power and speed and all that fun stuff.
Are you focusing on one-on-one training? What about group training or boot camps or online training?
Right now I focus on working one-on-one with clients, and I do some group training. It just really depends on who kind of comes through the door. So mostly I focus on one-on-one, individualized meeting with clients 2, maybe 3 times a week. Some clients I meet with once a week. And I'm looking into, right now, expanding the business. I have a website that is www.alaskafit.com. And so I'm looking into expanding that to do some more online training and over-the-phone type coaching. But for right now, it's very focused on one-on-one training.
Excellent. Why don't you give the listeners 1 or 2 free tips about how to lose weight and eat healthier?
My 2 things that I tell all of my clients are, the first one is move. Just get up and move. Many people spend lots of time sitting and going from place to place in their car. So any movement that you can do throughout the day, whether it's, we've all heard it before, whether it's taking the stairs or parking far away and walking, but any movement is good movement. So it doesn't need to be an hour and a half, and if I can't do that hour and a half, I can't work out at all. Take 5 minutes, walk up and down the stairs in your office, or walk up and down the stairs in your home. Do that 3 or 4 times. You'll get your heart rate up, and you will start to notice improvements in your movement patterns and in your ability to even burn a few more calories every day. And for dietary tips, my one is to get your 5 to 9 fruits and vegetables every day. If you can get all of those in every day, you won't have anything left over in order to have all those candy bars. You won't want them, you won't need them, and you won't really have any space for them in your diet.
What about supplementation? Do you support supplementation? Do you recommend supplementations for your clients? And if yes, what kind?
I actually do not recommend any supplements for my clients. I find that the more research that I do into them, and when you start looking at the science behind a lot of them, most of the science, or often a lot of the science, is not really there to back it up. It's studies that they will tout in their marketing, and that's great, but they tend to be very small studies. When you look at the larger studies, I have not really found any supplements that are supported by good, solid research where I can say, you know what, this is something that works, and you should go ahead and use it. So I do not recommend supplements to my clients. I tend to stay away from that. And I certainly will look at if someone has a supplement that they have a question about, I am happy to look at it for them and to research it for them, but I have not found anything that I would recommend at this point.
Excellent. What is, in your opinion, the biggest mistakes that other personal trainers make when working with the clients?
Well, I tend not to judge what other personal trainers do. Everyone seems to have their own style and their own, what they've been trained in. I find that for me, when other people come to me from having worked with other trainers, the other trainers tend not to focus on the functional aspect and the improving daily lives. They tend to focus a little bit more on, let's get the body fat percentage down first, where my focus tends to be, let's get you moving and let's get you pain-free first, and then the weight loss and all of those other great things come along with it. So that just is what I've noticed when other clients come to me from having worked with other trainers. They tend to feel better. They're able to do more because we focus on the functionality first and the stabilization and those kinds of things, rather than jumping in trying to get into things like, let's lift that really big weight right away.